We hear in the news every single week a new anti-voting rights bill that gets passed or gets passed through both chambers, and obviously our governor vetoes that. So people just want to know, so is this it?
Welcome back to the Around the District podcast. I'm Gabrielle Mazar.
I'm Nicole Brown.
And we are back with Maritza Saenz of no, just kidding. We're Around the District. of Protect the Vote. So we're talking about the Protect the Vote initiative and getting signatures for the ballot. So welcome back to the show. So we're going to talk about some common misconceptions or concerns that people have when they hear about this particular initiative.
Sure.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about what you hear from people?
Yeah. So, folks, this is such an easy initiative. You know, most of the time when we're doing initiatives, they're 6 pages, 10 pages long. This is 1 page front and back.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people are often confused by the simplicity of it. So what does it really do, though? It's like what it does right now is just does everything that you already do and just make sure we codify it. And in Arizona, you know, we've had these initiatives again that are strangely worded and confusing on purpose. And what this is, again, it's just so simple. Another part, to be very specific, is the voter ID part. So there's a voter ID part in this initiative that says our current voter ID laws now will be codified. And again, we have some of the strictest voter ID laws, and we've been able to do so much good in Arizona within those confines. And all that's going to do is make sure, again, we as Democrats want to make sure the right people are voting, like as far as like the right people is every single Arizona person that is able to vote. That's who we want.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other side, they don't.
Yeah.
Right. So all we want to do is make sure that folks have the correct ID. It's put in there. And again, this is something that has been in place since our previous Democratic governor, Janet Napolitano, signed those into place. And then also the last thing I think that people often ask is, well, will this change the way that we can vote in the future? I've had these questions a couple of times. In the future, can anybody change this? And because I keep hearing the state legislature and they keep coming back, and it's no, this strictly prohibits the state legislature from making any changes to this. And that too is confusing to folks because we hear in the news every single week a new anti-voting rights bill that gets passed or gets passed through both chambers, and obviously our governor vetoes that. So people just want to know, so is this it? So this is it? We're safe, or do we have to do this all over again?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So those are some.
Is that what it means to codify?
So codify means to put it into the Constitution.
Yeah. So that
in Arizona Constitution,
the legislature can't just change it.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And of course, this doesn't cover everything that we need protected, but at the very least, it will help for the baseline.
And these are laws that are already in place in the state of Arizona, voting laws that are already in place.
Correct.
They just codify them into the Constitution.
Correct.
So that
they can't be taken away.
They cannot be taken away.
And again, I understand why that's confusing to people because we don't have, again, we're constantly under attack at the Supreme Court level in Congress. And so now people can say, oh, okay, now I understand.
Yeah.
Just helps protect me.
And I think there's confusion too because states have the right to determine their voting laws.
Exactly.
And, you know, obviously there are federal voting laws, right? But, you know, and they have, you know, at this level, and the states make the rules for each individual state. So every state has different laws to when and where and how they conduct elections. And I think that that's confusing to people as well. So I think, you know, people knowing that these laws are already in place, if it's in the Constitution, this cannot change. This is what it is. It's not like the next governor is going to come in and say, oh, no, this changes. It is the law of Arizona.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's that. I hope that clarifies it for people.
I do too.
Right?
I do too. And it's also a lesson, right? Like it's a civics lesson.
Yeah.
And, you know, it has been for people.
Needs to be back.
Exactly. What does
like
it
that
mean?
cartoon, how loud it comes to Bill?
That was the schoolhouse
House
rock.
You need
Yes,
to
the school.
I'm aging myself. You guys know my age now. I didn't watch that growing up. But let me ask you this though. So when there is misinformation out there, how do you help people understand the difference between what is a fact and what's misinformation
The-
when it comes to this issue?
Absolutely. And it's not just me, right? It's our volunteers actually that are out there with the petitions that set the record straight. So where do they get that information? Obviously, they can go to our website, protectthevoteaz.com. But it really is our volunteers that have been incredibly amazing. And they call and they're like, hey, this is another frequently asked question. What do I say? This is what I said. Is that correct? And so it's really been this army of volunteers, obviously mostly Democrats, but also there are some Republicans, that I love this. And I sent it around to my friends. So I think we're going to get a lot more of those folks. But again, it's if you go to the website, it's all there. It is a person behind that website that easily explains it. But our volunteers have been the best army of misinformation and fighting against that. And again, it's a battle against some really strong folks at the state legislature and nationally, and they're doing it on the ground every day.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I like how you said there are some Republicans too, because
Yes.
I think we said it in an earlier podcast where this initiative impacts everybody.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what's behind your voter registration card, or whether you're a D, an R, or an I. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
Or libertarian
Or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Or no
yeah.
party,
Or nothing.
This
whatever.
impacts you as a voter.
does.
Right.
Period.
It does.
You know,
It does.
it stops there. It doesn't stop
Exactly.
at your political affiliation.
Right.
Yeah,
So I think that's an important thing to keep saying to people.
exactly. This is
Yeah.
a nonpartisan
It's
issue.
a nonpartisan issue.
It is so not, and then we always say that, right? We say that about different things, healthcare, education, but this is truly a nonpartisan issue.
Yep.
And it's easy for folks who are Republicans and independents to just grab a petition and get their folks. And we need, and you all know, if your friend or your cousin or a family member is the one asking you for a signature, you're a
Yeah.
natural validator more so than any endorsement that you can get at a national level.
Mhm.
So let me ask you this. So you have canvassers. Am I saying that right?
Canvassers?
God,
I got you.
my ears don't
I
sound
do.
right now.
Our
But
Super Bowls.
I know.
We call them Super Bowls.
You have volunteers
Uh-huh.
going out. And if the volunteers are going out, you have a website. Are you doing mailers, or how do people get information
Information.
other ways?
Yeah, so social media is going to be a big
Yeah.
part of this as far as getting this on the ballot. We want to make sure that, first of all, the first step of any of this is just to get on the ballot. So get as many volunteers as we can out there and armed. Obviously, after this, yes, it's on the airwaves. It is going to be on social. It's everywhere, mailers, because we are going to be fighting against another proposition that will be on the
Yeah,
ballot
it-
that will look very similar,
Oh, okay.
very, very similar.
That's going to be interesting.
Exactly. But again, we are partnering with some really great folks in education, and we will do a no campaign, which would be another whole set of mailers and posts and
So
TV
right now,
airwaves.
the focus right now is get the signatures.
Get the
it
signatures.
on the ballot.
Yeah,
right?
and we know that this will pass. It has an extremely favorable polling rate amongst Republicans, independents, and of course Democrats. So we know that once it gets on the ballot, we have a very strong possibility to pass this, but we just have to get it on there.
So if this passes, how does it get codified? Just curious as to how that works. So like, is it automatically codified into law?
Yeah, so once it passes, it automatically becomes part of our Constitution.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And
Curious.
I thought you were going to also ask. So the other opposing
Yeah.
referendum proposition that will be on it, if we get one more vote than them, this whatever we address that they address, this becomes law first and
Oh.
foremost. So all we need to get is one more vote than any other competing proposition. Now people have asked, what about the Trump Save Act?
Yeah.
And how does that? Well, that's, as you mentioned, that's a federal issue.
Right.
That will have to be something that goes to court. At the
Uh-huh.
very least, we will give our AG Mays
Mhm.
the ability to say Arizona voters have already spoken out on this. They've
Mhm.
already said how they want to vote.
Yeah.
And I understand that Trump's bill is impacting all of this, including the IDs.
Yeah.
And so what again, those have to go through the court system. But at the very least, we as Arizonans can say, we've already voted on this.
We've
This is
already.
what we
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it will be overwhelming.
And I think as far as I know, even if it won't, because I mean, I think something like that needs 2/3 of everything.
Mhm.
But if it were to happen, I think this trumps, like if this were codified into Arizona law, that trumps that because we run the election. So if this is Arizona Constitution, mail-in voting would trump that law.
True,
I,
but
I don't know.
no,
I could
but
be wrong.
no. I mean, let's say that is true. That won't stop them from
Right.
trying.
Right.
They just tried to get our very secure, confidential voter information.
Yeah.
And you're not supposed to,
Right.
but they asked for it anyway. So
yeah, and some
it
states
won't.
are actually giving it
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
And I think something just happened in Georgia.
They went physically to the
Yep,
offices.
yep.
Yeah. And again, our Secretary of State, Adrian Fontes,
Yep.
and our AG Mays, they said, no. That was like that's the
Yep.
whole sentence.
Yeah, no. Which is also why local elections are so very important
Yes.
because you're voting
We
for
will always
that
go back to
AG.
that.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
those
and
local
your vote it comes back to local elections because that person that's in that spot is protecting your information, your
Exactly.
right to vote, your private information, your voting records, you know, and if you are voting in a certain way and that goes to whomever and they decide that they want to purge all Democratic votes, or let's say a Democrat becomes president and they decide they want to purge all Republican
Exactly.
votes.
I mean,
You
it goes
don't
both
know.
ways.
It
You
does.
don't know that that's going to flip
Exactly.
in the other direction. It might go in your favor this time, but you don't know if it's going to go in the other favor
like
of
the
the other
filibuster.
side. So
Mhm.
it's exactly why
Like
they do
filibuster.
not get rid of the filibuster 100%. So, you know, like again, this affects everybody just like that does. So if you have to think about things from both sides, it might be working out for you right now, but think about if it doesn't. Think
I was
about if
I
it
was
doesn't.
somewhere recently, and I heard somebody say, "Think nationally, vote locally,"
Mhm.
Yeah.
and that's so important. And it just
Yeah.
stuck with me because I'm like, yeah, your long term goals is nationally, you want things for everybody, but
Yeah.
locally, it's what really impacts us.
Yeah.
So again, local elections.
Oh, absolutely.
Really
I mean,
matter.
side note, school board races are my jam. Like that is to me, I mean, I'm one of those weird people. I start in the middle where my school board people are, and then I'll go out.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, local elections
You
is
know,
where it's
the
at.
people underestimate school board and how important it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, with schools closing,
Exactly.
and, you know, the banned books and
Exactly.
things to that sort. You really, really have to have people who are there who are fighting for education.
Exactly.
And
Equitably.
and all
Yeah.
students,
Yes.
not
Yes.
some.
Yes.
And then the funding for that and getting it good teachers and
Yeah.
things to that sort. So
Yeah. Oh, I could
totally
go
with you
off.
on that, girl.
Yeah.
Education is my jam
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Call to action.
Yes. Yes.
What
yes,
is
yes,
it?
yes, yes.
If someone is listening right now and wants to support this effort, what can they do?
The most simple thing you can do is go to our website again, protectthevoteaz.com, sign up to volunteer, donate, and just read up. As you said, misinformation is out there, and we know that it's going to be coming even more so once this gets on the ballot. If you can read up on that, that would be amazing. But again, if you can just sign up to volunteer, I have told so many people, if you bring back 200 signatures or two, you and your partner, you and your new 18-year-old voter, I'll be so happy because you know what? That's engagement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was saying my mom never does any of this stuff. She is so I don't know if shy is the word, but she also yells at her TV. So, but she got her and her sister. They've already filled out a petition. She went to her Zumba class and her pickleball tournament. She filled out a petition. It was so easy for her. So she's gonna do it again. I'm telling you, it's a thing. It's a thing. So while people are, she's just, I can't do it either. She
It's
does
like
it.
tennis.
Yeah. She's in her 70s and she's
Not
doing all this
independent
stuff. So yeah, I mean, that's something that you can get people excited about. Like this is, and it's not controversial. I said, no, Mom, it's so easy. I promise, And so I think the ease of how you talk about this is what really gets people going. So yes, sign up, pick up a petition. We'll drop it off. I'll mail it out because as you all know, gas prices are crazy. And so mailing has actually been a really great tool for us to get stuff out to Navajo County all the way down to Santa Cruz.
Well, let me just go back to the gas
Mhm,
thing
mm.
because it does, and
It
this
does.
voter initiative impacts everything, right? So if they take away, the uh, voting centers or hours and things of that sort, guess what? You
Yes.
have to drive.
Yes.
That's gas. You can't get to a center close to your home or wherever
Yeah.
you work. That's gas.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You have to take a bus. That's gas. Prices go
Exactly.
up. And then it goes back down to what do you have to choose from? Gas prices,
or voting.
Utility
Yeah,
prices.
yeah,
Someone
yeah.
said you forgot to say that earlier, but
Yeah.
gas, utility, food, it's affordability on the ballot.
Yeah.
This is still about affordability.
It really
People
is.
don't realize
It
that,
really
but it's
is.
still about affordability.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what
yeah.
makes your life a lot easier.
Exactly. I mean, again, the ability to vote is so powerful
Mhm.
and it is so important, but it should be so easy.
Mhm.
It should be easy.
What about for people that say my vote doesn't count?
Yeah.
My vote doesn't matter.
Yeah,
What
for
would you
sure.
say
I,
then?
I would say pay attention to AG Mays and how it was a little sliver. I'm
Yeah.
gonna tell you right now, like Congressman Yasmin Ansari, I think it was like 30 something
Yeah.
votes, and she has been an incredible
She
champion.
has
Right
been.
now, she's been on the oversight committee and she's overseeing all these Epstein stuff and and she is just so intelligent.
And I thought
bright.
she was quiet. When
Right,
I met
right.
her, I'm like, no, not at all.
You know what she was doing? She was listening.
I know she was like taking it all in and doing her thing.
Yeah.
And she's been awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we've definitely seen a lot of races won
Yes.
by just anywhere from 20 to just a few hundred votes.
Yeah.
So your vote definitely matters.
And let's talk about school
But
boards. I mean, school
school
boards
board,
every
yep.
single year, comes down to,
Yep.
maybe 10,
Yep.
15, 20, 100.
Yep. So
Yeah.
But if your vote didn't
especially-
matter,
Yeah.
they wouldn't be trying to
Exactly.
take
That's-
this away.
that
That's the key.
exactly.
is
If
right.
your
If
vote
your
did not
vote
matter, we
didn't
would not
matter,
need this.
Exactly.
this would not be a thing.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
So
That's
you have
right.
to think. You have
Yeah.
to think about it. That they don't want people to
No.
vote, and
Yeah.
whoever the days are, we know who the
Right.
days are.
Yeah.
They, if your vote didn't matter, they wouldn't
wouldn't
be
care.
making all these.
Yeah.
I mean, look what happened with the Supreme Court. Let's go to that.
Exactly.
If your vote didn't matter, they wouldn't have to take away that right.
Right.
That has been there.
Right. And they get
Yeah.
to decide what cases they hear and they don't hear. There are hundreds of cases that never get heard.
Yeah.
If
Why
your
did
vote
they choose
didn't
that
matter,
one?
they would
Yeah.
not be gerrymandering the
Mhm.
hell out of
Exactly.
states.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yep.
So your vote
Absolutely.
always matters.
Yes. Yeah. So definitely make sure that you sign this petition. If you find anywhere that they're having, if you want to volunteer to help get signatures,
Make
get in
phone calls.
contact,
Yeah.
make phone calls. But definitely be a part of this. Like you said, this is 70% of people are in support of the Protect the Vote initiative. So please get involved. Please find out, more if you're interested in learning more about this. But thank you so much for
Thank
coming on the
you.
show
Yeah,
today.
thank you both.
So protectthevoteaz.com. The other one, protectthevote.com, is the incorrect one. So make sure you add the AZ at the end. We will make sure to add that in the show notes at the end or in any of our show notes. So please make sure to link, follow, share. Any comments for that? This has been Around the Districts podcast with Maritza Saenz of Protect the Vote, and we really appreciate listening to you today.
Thank you.
So
See you in the next
we
episode.
will see you in the next episode.